I'm convinced that we can be every bit as efficient and perhaps even more efficient working remotely. I mean, we have all kinds of tools at our disposal. We can make agendas, we can go through the agendas, we can make decisions, and perhaps we can be more efficient. However, when it comes to being an effective team, efficiency doesn't really carry the day. You've got to focus on effectiveness. And this is the one ingredient that could potentially be missing from your remote work arrangement that you've got to put in. And that is having casual time where we actually sit down and just shoot the breeze and come up with some ideas. Because when we're working remotely, the tendency is to just kind of be agenda driven, be task driven, get together when we need to talk about something, and then make those decisions and move on, which again is great. However, if you don't put this other ingredient in, over the long run, your relationships will suffer, and the quality of ideas that you come up with within your team will suffer. Now, a friend of mine back in Bangkok, when I lived there many years ago, used to call this Yag-a-Dag. So he and I used to ride to work and back together. And we would just have these conversations. We didn't have an agenda. We didn't really particularly have an objective for the conversation. We'd just sit there and shoot the breeze. And you'd be amazed how many times when you're just talking to somebody without a particular objective or endpoint in mind, how many times you come up with some really great ideas that will lead to something. And so this friend of mine is from Australia, and I don't know if he came up with this term himself or it's just an Australian thing. I never could figure this out, but he used to say, let's Yag-a-Dag. And I'm like, what is Yag-a-Dag? And he described it to me. And what we were actually doing on those rides to and from work was we were Yag-a-Dagging. So this was a term that really became a thing for us. Okay, let's just Yag-a-Dag. So we'd sit down and we'd have some conversations, and before you know it, we'd come up on something that was really important to one or both of us, and then we would actually then build on that idea and something great would come out of it. So this is what I would encourage you to do, is to make sure that you not only have structured meetings with your team, but you also have some Yag-a-Dag time. And that's a little bit different than just socially sort of checking on people, because you could have your business meetings. You could also have these social check-ins, and that's really great as well to see how people are doing. I'm talking about something in the middle here, where we're not just purely talking about social stuff, but we're just sitting there talking about how things are going. So what's working for you, what's not working for you. Hey, here's what I've got going on. And before you know it, an idea comes up and we uncover some ideas that otherwise in our structured meetings or in our social check-ins would never emerge. So make time for this, be intentional about it, and spend some time Yag-a-Dagging with people. Even if they're not right in front of you and it's not happening naturally, be intentional about just calling people up and being okay with Yag-a-Dagging and coming up with some really, really great ideas.